Prudent.
The all-new Prudent app is here. Watch news videos and bulletins on the
वर्क फ्रॉम होम असू और ऑनलाईन क्लासेस, नेटफ्लिक्स, अमेझॉन प्राइम, Z5 सारखे ऑनलाईन स्ट्रीमिंग और यूट्यूब, फेसबुक, ट्विटर आता सगळी कामं करू शकता सुपर फास्ट. जी वेव तुमच्या खातीर घेऊन येता हाय क्वालिटी इंटरनेट विथ सुपर हाय स्पीड आणि बजेट प्लॅन्स. अधिक माहिती खातीर आणि इन्स्टॉलेशन करपा खातीर कॉल करात 7719006555 ह्या नंबराचेर आणि कनेक्शन बुक करा. जाता तितले घरान रावात आणि भायर सरचे पडले जाल्यार सगळी सेफ्टी प्रिकॉशन फॉलो करात. सावध रावूया, जीव वाचवूया. फॉर मोर इन्फो विजिट
ही चिंग शेजवान चटणीची धमाल आहे. सगळे समजतात माझ्या हातात कमाल आहे. डाळ असो किंवा डिप, इडली असो किंवा पिझ्झा, डोसा असो किंवा फ्राईड राईस, चिंग शेजवान चटणीचा तडका सगळ्यांवर मारा.
ये चटनी नहीं, रॉकेट है, रॉकेट.
From Capital Foods.
Mandate Goa. Watch results of Goa Assembly Elections 2022 live on 10th March from 8 a.m. onwards. Updates from North and South Goa counting stations. Reporters from all constituencies. Eminent panel decoding results along with state and national leaders. Find out who will form the next Goa government. Only on Prudent. Mandate Goa. Watch results of Goa Assembly Elections 2022 live on 10th March from 8 a.m. onwards. Updates from North and South Goa counting stations. Reporters from all constituencies. Eminent
नमस्कार. आयच्या या स्पेशल ब्रॉडकास्टात तुमकां सगळ्याक येवकार. फाटल्या 2 ते 3 वर्सां ज्या हायकोर्टाच्या वर्डिक्टाची आमी सगळे जाण वाट पळयताले, तो वर्डिक्ट आज आयला. तो किती आयला, कसो आयला, ताची जजमेंटाची कॉपी 2 मिनटां पयलीं आमच्या हाताक पडल्या. इनिशियल जी ब्रेकिंग न्यूज आशिल्ली ती ब्रेकिंग न्यूज तुम्ही पळयली. ज्या ब्रेकिंग न्यूजा भितर क्लियरली सांगला की जे पिटिशन आशिल्ले काँग्रेस आनी एमजीपीचे ते पिटिशन डिसमिस केला म्हणून. नाव जजमेंटा भितर एक्च्युअल कितें आसा ते आमी पळयतले. ओपन कोर्टा भितर कितें जालें ते क्विकली सांगता. जजान सांगलें की देर आर 8 काउंट्स ऑन विच दिस ऑर्डर वॉज बीन एक्झामिन्ड, दिस पिटिशन वॉज बीन एक्झामिन्ड and they have ruled on all those 8 counts. What are those 8 counts आणि actually या जजमेंटा भितर कितें डिटेल्स आसात ह्यो सगळ्यो गजाली ज्यो इम्पॉर्टंट आसात त्यो आमी घेवन तुमच्या मुखार येतात. आमकां एक्सपर्ट्स जॉईन जातात, आमकां हायकोर्टांतल्यान आमचे रिपोर्टर्स जॉईन जातात, त्याच बरोबर राजकीय पक्षांचे प्रतिनिधी आणि अध्यक्ष आमकां जॉईन जातले, इन्क्लुडिंग द पिटिशनर्स. हांव सगळ्यात सुरवात पयली करता. ते आमचे मुकेश कुमार आसात जे हायकोर्टात आसात. मुकेशा कडच्यान कितें जालां ते जाणून घेवया. इन केस ऑर्डरी भितर कितें आसा तेय बी आमकां वाचपाक जर टायम मेळ्ळा आतां मेरेन जाल्यार आमी तुमचे म्हऱ्या हाडटात आणि मुखार वतात. मुकेश, कॅन यू हियर मी?
Yes, Pramod.
या what happened in the open court, but what is the order exactly saying?
So it is 89-page judgment, and there is 8 points which has been explained by the High Court, and in which they have justified the merger. So right now we have Advocate Nitin Sardesai, senior advocate, here with me. I'll ask directly him that what is the conclusion you understand, sir, about it?
The batch of petitions filed has been dismissed by the Honorable High Court. One of the bases on which the petitions have been dismissed are that the Honorable High Court follows the dictum laid down in Kyoto Holohan's case. Now, Kyoto Holohan's case says under what circumstances a judicial review of the speaker's action can be taken by the Honorable High Court. Now, in this particular judgment, the court says that putting it strictly on the principles laid down in Kyoto Holohan's case, the petitioners in this particular petitions have not made out a case for interfering with the order passed by the learned speaker, and therefore dismisses it. See, as I understand it, the entire argument was by the petitioner that if you look into the intention of very enactment of 10th schedule, then it is to avoid defection, and therefore any defection that takes place is illegal and should be set aside. Now, this argument does not take into consideration that there are certain exceptions provided for. It is not as if every defection is frowned upon by law. A defection which is principled, which is on the basis of some higher virtue, is permitted because this is ultimately a democracy. A person may change his mind for whatever reason. Of course, normally people attribute a financial motive for all this or lust for power, but that need not necessarily be the case.
Sir, there is one point number 6. It says that admitted position on the facts of the present cases indicate that respondent number 2 to 11, that is 10 MLAs of Congress party, and 2 and 3 in other writ petition, that means 2 MLAs of MGP, and they satisfy the requirement of sub-paragraph 2 of paragraph 4 of 10th schedule. What does it mean?
10th schedule says, sub-para 2 of para 4 says that if 2/3 of the majority decide to cross floor, then that will not amount to defection. That is precisely what I am saying. See, what happens is when every defection happens, it happens for a particular reason. Now, the law provides for certain defection. I will not call it defection, but move over from one party to another party. Now, that if it is consisting of people who are about 2/3 of the majority, then it is deemed that it is a principled moving over or crossing the floor, provided they are 2/3. If it's not 2/3, then it's a question of it may amount to a defection in the circumstance. So that is precisely what the Honorable High Court says, that they satisfy the parameters. When they moved across, they were in fact 2/3 of their party when they moved across. So therefore, it won't amount to defection.
Before I go back to Pramod, one thing I want to know in simple language for our viewers, that it is split is allowed or it is merger?
It is a merger. Split is no longer the law. It is a question of merger. This whoever broke off from their respective parties went and merged with the governing body then or the government at that point of time. And therefore, it's a clear case of merger.
But it doesn't affect the original party status.
Original party status meaning that party has some legislators in them, they will continue being there. These people can see what happens is if you can move, you can cross the floor in 2 ways. One thing is when your entire party wants to merge with another party and you go along with the flow of the party, that is permitted by. The other position is that your party may go, but you for certain reasons you say that, well, I will stick to my principles, I will go by what my voters have told me to, my mandate that has been given to me by my elected, and I will sit separately, I will not go with the party. I'm not doing it. In the court, in the assembly, as a separate group by himself, so his party has merged. So under these two circumstances, there is no defection. But the question is, when can you say that a party has merged? That is where the provisos, that if 2/3 people have moved over, have crossed over, then that is a merger and it is no defection. If you go by even mythologically, this is not part of the law, but mythologically, just because you said that you want the people to know. See, right from Ramayana time, we know that there has been defection. See, Vibhishan crossed the floor from Ravan's Lanka to Ram's camp. Now, that was not defection at all because he did so on principle. Of course, he was thereafter rewarded once Ravan was dethroned. They installed Vibhishan as the king of Lanka. So, principled, for the purpose of our viewers, principled walking over or moving, crossing the floor is permitted.
So, Pramod, as Advocate Sardesai said that the High Court has allowed and validated the merger as of now. Pramod. Okay.
Cleophas Bob, you can hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Cleophas, after seeing the judgment, the primary, I think, contents of the judgment, what do you make of it?
I make of it like this, that the court has accepted that the original political party and the legislature party are two different things.
Okay.
The legislature party 2/3 can merge, and for the purposes of merger, only the legislature party will be taken into account. The original political party will not be considered. That there is a split in the original political party, and that split or that merger has been reflected in the legislature party. That is not the thing. The court accepts that these are two entities: the original political party and the legislature party. Now,
so you are saying that there is, as far as defection is concerned, it is valid, but the merger is not valid.
no, the merger is valid for the purposes of these MLAs.
Okay.
The original political party will continue, but the merger of these MLAs into the BJP at that time will also be valid. That means they are not defected. See, in fact, at the time when the law was enacted, this 2/3 merger and 1/3 split was retained because there was a fear of party bossism. Party bosses will overrule the MLAs and MPs, and that is why this was retained. By the Law Commission recommendation in 2003, the split was done away with. Split is no longer available. The Law Commission also wanted the split, the merger to be done away with. But the Parliament in its wisdom only removed the split but kept the merger. And that merger is now playing havoc with us, the smaller states. See, if split has done away with, merger had to be done away with. Because what would happen was, if merger had been done away with, the distinction between the original political party and the legislature party would not be there. Now that these two entities remain, if merger was done away with, that distinction would also go. But one more thing, Pramod, this is also a dangerous situation for any political party, and including our own state, because we have fragile numbers. We do not know how many will BJP get. We do not know how many Congress will get. We do not know how many MGP will get.
Cleophas, we'll come to the implication. Cleophas, will come to the implication of this judgment on the prevalent situation later. But Radha, if you can unmute yourself, तुमको किती दिसता? Initial comments will go to the finer points of the judgment later. But initial जेन्ना तुम्ही पळयता judgmenta भितर, how are you looking at the split as well as the merger? Radha, please unmute yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. See, what happens now, essentially this judgment confirms once again that our parliament is simply incapable of protecting the interest of the voters. You see, this legislation was amended in 2003 because so many issues were arising. At the point of amendment, it should have been a wholesome amendment so that all these deficiencies which we see now were cured. But unfortunately, Parliament is not interested in giving us good legislation. Now, and again, what happens is that Kyoto Halahan albatross is hanging around our necks. Everybody, every time there's a judgment, Kyoto Halahan is quoted. Now, if that is so, then there's no question of even moving the High Court on challenging judgments of the speakers. Now, practically speaking, I was hoping, you see, there are very defective legislations, and there are instances where the courts have intervened, where the intention of Parliament, where the purpose of law is being defrauded. Then there is a duty cast on the courts to intervene and frame their own rules or give their own interpretation, so that we are not all taken for a ride. And I did hope that our High Court would look at it from a different angle, would give it a different interpretation, and would at least compel Parliament to act in a particular way. Unfortunately, you know, such a thing requires judges with something extra, which we don't have, unfortunately. So every judge goes only by the law, by the letter of the law. And then this is the sort of judgments we have.
Yes. I'm joined by the lawyer for the Congress Party, Advocate Gosavi. Gosavi Bab, ऐकू येता माझा आवाज? Yeah, if you can unmute yourself. Just unmute yourself. Yeah, Gosavi Bab, आवाज ऐकू येता?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. तुम्ही कशी पळयतात? I think the news that we are breaking right now is Congress is planning to challenge the order in the Supreme Court, obviously. But as a petitioner, तुम्ही या ऑर्डरीकडून कशी पळयतात? Your initial reaction.
You meant as a lawyer for the petitioner.
Yeah.
According to me.
Yes, please go ahead.
According to me, though I have not read the order entirely, just being uploaded. But according to me, this is something which goes against the spirit and the intent of the 10th schedule itself. Because what this virtually does is that basically today, the role of the political party in the entire democratic process is virtually rendered, basically it is rendered infructuous in a way, or osseous in a way, because today the political party will have absolutely no control or no say over what its MLAs are doing. Basically, whenever any candidate is set up by the political party, obviously he has his own credentials and own standing in the constituency because of which he gets elected. At the same time, there is a lot of backing, support, and the stage which is given by a political party, which is used by that candidate to get elected. So in a way, when he decides to sell the mandate or change the mandate, it is basically affront to his constituent, the people who have voted for him. So in that context, in the spirit of law and in the spirit of aims and objectives of the law, it appears that this order goes against the spirit of tension. That's what my first impression is.
आणि तुम्ही सुप्रीम कोर्टाक वतात केन्ना अप्रोच करतले आणि what is the next course of action from your side?
We are going to approach the Honorable Supreme Court as soon as possible. We need to read the order first, find out where exactly we can, which logic and which reasoning we don't agree with, and thereafter challenge it. One thing is certain, that obviously, yes, we are going to challenge it. The time frame will depend upon, we need to sit together, discuss, and then take it forward.
Yeah. Thanks, Gosavi Bab, because next म्हाका दिसता important जी गजाल आसा ना ती म्हळ्यार सुप्रीम कोर्टा भितर कितें जातलें, बिकॉज परत एक फावट हो जो प्रश्न आतां सुप्रीम कोर्टाक पावता, whether this order is living up to the spirit of 10th schedule. We are talking about whether it is living up to the letter of 10th schedule. I think spiritaचा प्रश्न जो आसा तो ताजे फाटल्यान रोखडोच येतलो. We'll talk about that spirit and we'll talk about the letter. आमचेकडे क्लिओफात बाब, राधाराव बाबी join आसात. But right now I am joined by प्रदेश काँग्रेस कमिटीचे अध्यक्ष गिरीश बाब चोडणकर. गिरीश बाब, माझा आवाज ऐकू येता? गिरीश बाब, माझा आवाज ऐकू येता?
Yes.
Yeah. Initial reaction on this judgment, तुमची कितें? Because you were highly banking upon this judgment. Yeah, Girish Bab, go ahead.
So indeed, entire Goa, we had voted in one voice. To the MLAs, we have changed the sides later on. सो ही जी ऑर्डर जाल्या त्या ऑर्डरीन पॉलिटिकल पार्टीची जे एक्झिस्टन्स आसा तेजेर क्वेश्चन मार्क केला. आणि जे डेमोक्रेटिक नॉर्म्स आसा ते डेमोक्रेटिक नॉर्म्स थोडे डिस्ट्रॉय जाल्ले आनीक हे सगळे अपहेल्ड जातले जाल्यार ही ऑर्डर आसा ती इमिजिएटली चॅलेंज जावपाक जाय. कारण एक वायट प्रथा सुरू जाल्ली आसा ह्या वेळार की तुम्ही इलेक्ट जातकर एक पार्टीचे दुसरे पार्टीन तुम्ही वचपाक शकता. 2/3 आमदार डिसायड करतात ते फायनल नॉर्म्स आमकां चॅलेंज करपाक चॅलेंजींग.
Thanks a lot, Girish Bab. Yeah, we'll sort out the network issue and come back to Girish Bab. Cleophas Bab, do you agree with that? Do you agree with what Girish is saying? That a political party ji sanctity asa, sanctity is in question today?
According to me, political parties' credibility is not there. The issue is once you elect, the mandates are made mincemeat of by the people. See, it is not that legislators have been shifting sides in Western countries. Even in England, the entire 19th century has been very unstable. Government collapsed like a pack of cards in England, the entire 19th century. The entire 19th century, only 5 years had one government from 1928 to 1933, 1828 to 1833. But there people never shifted for money and power. Our problem is the people started shifting their loyalty for money and power. And that is why the anti-defection law came. See, even in England, even in other countries, shifting of loyalties is there, but there is no anti-defection law. Because people shift for principles. Here, people don't shift for principles. People shift for power. People shift for money, and that is where.
Cleophas Bab, I'm again on the same point. You are talking about the spirit of the 10 schedule, but whether this order has adhered to the 10 schedule in letter, and we'll go to the spirit later.
See, let us be very clear. In the year 2003. The constitution was amended to say that we are doing away with the split and we are retaining merger. Now, if they are retaining merger and doing away with the split, keep retaining the merger, it could be said that the court has kept up to the letter of the law, but may not be with the intention with which the law was brought. In fact, if you go to see, the intention was to do away with party bossism. Maybe the legislature at that time felt that 2/3 party bossism is okay. Even now, 2/3 party bossism is okay. If that is the view of the parliament, then I don't see how the court could give otherwise. But certainly against the spirit of 10 schedule. But to say that,
but Cleophas, before I go to Radha Bab, I want to just lokank clarity.
One more thing, Pramod, let us be very clear that when split was done away with, I am repeating, even the law commission said merger must also be done away with. They said it very clearly. The parliament retained. So when Radha said the parliament,
Cleophas, magris the lokaचे तकल्यांक दोन भाग आसात. पहिलो भाग, before I go to Radha Bab and Girish again, पहिलो भाग जो आसा तो भाग म्हळ्यार whether this split is valid. Now the High Court is saying that the split is valid. 2/3 is valid.
No split, merger.
Correct. Yeah, merger. Now दुसरो भाग जो आसा तो तोच. The second भाग is merger. So mergeraचो भाग जो आसा, in very layman's terms, when a Babu Asgaonkar or when a Deepak Pauskar split, and when they say that we have merged MGP into BJP, so what is the sanctity of the remaining MGP today in legal terms, purely?
In legal terms, the MGP would be recognized by the election commission as a party with that symbol. In the next election, that party will contest the elections on the lion symbol. while as far as the legislature is concerned, the MGP legislature party has merged. Because it is the legislature party and the original political party. So it appears that there is a clear distinction made and accepted by the High Court. The argument for the High Court was, don't accept these as two separate things, accept them as one, which the court says no.
Radhabab, how are you looking at it? I mean, we spoke about the letter of the 10th schedule. What about the spirit of the 10th schedule? Do you think the spirit of the 10th schedule is defeated by this order?
See what happens, Pramod, on the subject of the split and merger. Now, as you was discussing, the split, for instance, in the MGP. Now, 2/3 of the MGP out of 3 MLAs, 2 went away and merged with the BJP. That is where the trouble. Suppose they were to split and they were to claim to be the MGP, then there would be a problem for the MGP, because the election commission would then be called upon to decide which is the original MGP. And in such a situation, the MGP that is led by Sudhin Davlikar could have lost the symbol because the others were a majority, going by earlier court precedents. But once there is a merger, there is no other contender for saying that we are the MGP. So therefore the MGP survives. But if two factions were to both claim to be MGP, there would be trouble for one faction.
Correct.
So in this case, merger has helped the Sudhin Davlikar's MGP.
Okay.
But what I feel is that, the courts, the High Court should not be so technical. They could have gone in depth into the purposes for which this act was brought into. Now, all this so-called merger in Goa is a farce. See, there has to be a split first. Now, from what we know, the split and the merger took place at the same time.
Yes.
You see, in this case, now you tell me something. For a merger, the BJP should have met, should have resolved to merge this group with themselves, followed, and thereafter the merger could have taken place. So therefore, according to me, there should have been first a split, which had come into public. Then after that, the BJP would resolve to admit them. Nothing of the sort has happened. At midnight, a group has gone out and gone into the BJP. So no procedure has been followed. That is where I feel the court should have put his foot down and said that split is one aspect. You are simply, and I will tell you what is happening. We know that the BJP and the Congress are diametrically opposed parties. And people have voted for them for particular purpose. Now, overnight, that who is elected as Congress becomes BJP. That should not be permitted at all, because you are defeating the mandate and you are defeating the voters. So I felt that the High Court should have gone into these things.
Okay. You are again Radhabab, you are saying that High Court should not have restricted itself to the letter of the law, but should have gone into the details of the
even on the letter of the law, the High Court should have gone to see whether there was actually a split. See, there has to be a really split and a merger. It cannot be simultaneous.
Okay. म्हाका गिरीश चोडणकर प्रदेश काँग्रेस कमिटीचे अध्यक्ष परत जॉइन झाले आहात. गिरीश बाब, तुम्ही ऐकलं, there is this big debate now whether letter of the law and spirit of the law. Obviously, as petitioner, तुमको दिसता असतले की spirit of the law has not been followed. But as a political party, after seeing this judgment, are you feeling powerless? That's the question. Girish Babu, if you can unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Girish Babu, go ahead. Yeah.
One is the legal aspect. We have luckily we have two different courts. One is a judicial, which is set by the Constitution, and there is another constitutional court that is the People's Court,
which has ruled, but the judgment is reserved.
Is on time. The way people have responded to all the defectors, and the way these defectors has to struggle and respond to the questions of his voters when he was going to ask for the votes. And we are expecting that although High Court might have given the verdict against us, we are confident of the People's Court. On 10th, the people will disqualify them, people will punish them. Number two is the issue the intent or the purpose of the 10th schedule. आता 10th schedule हाडपाचो हेच्या फाटल्यान हेतू कितें आशिल्लो की हे जे पळय इलेक्शन जातकर लोकांचो मॅन्डेट आसा तो ओव्हरटर्न करता पयशां खातीर पावरा खातीर ताका खंय तरी आळ घालपा खातीर हो 10th schedule हाडला. आनी 10th schedule कितें म्हणटा की जर मर्जर अलाव केले रे पूण ताका थोडी कंडिशन्स घातल्या 2 कंडिशन्स घातल्या. एक कंडिशन पयली पॉलिटिकल पार्टीन डिसिजन घेवपाक जाय की आयज आमी मर्जर केला. फॉर एक्झाम्पल सेव्ह गोवा पार्टी, द सेव्ह गोवा पार्टी काँग्रेसीक मर्ज जाल्ली तेन्ना एंटायर सेव्ह गोवा पार्टीन रेझोल्युशन घेतलेलें, डिसिजन घेतलेलें आनी तेजे नंतर तें डिसिजन तेंच्या आमदारांनी एंडोर्स केलें. ते अशें जावना आशिल्लें की आमदारांनी डिसिजन घेतलें आनी मर्जर केली आनी त्या खातीर ही मर्जर आसा ती इलेक्शन कमिशन ऑफ इंडिया भितर जाल्ली, तेजे नंतर तेजेर अपील जाली, तेजे नंतर ही केस चालू आशिल्ली. आता ही जी मर्जर आसा ती मर्जर आमी आरटीआय घातलेलो इलेक्शन कमिशन ऑफ इंडिया कडेन.
गिरीश बाब, इफ यू कॅन अनम्यूट युअरसेल्फ, तुम्ही म्यूट झाल्यात. गिरीश बाब, जस्ट अनम्यूट युअरसेल्फ, तुम्ही म्यूट झाल्यात. या गो हेड,
ऐकू येता?
आता ऐकू येता. गो हेड.
हॅलो,
या गो हेड.
तुझा आवाज गेला.
गिरीश बाब गो हेड. या गिरीश बाब गो हेड.
तो मग तुझा आवाज येना.
हॅलो गिरीश बाब, ऐकू येता? क्लिओफा बाब, तुमका ऐकू येता म्हजो आवाज? ओके, या गिरीश, गो हेड. येस.
हॅलो, सो इलेक्शन कमिशन ऑफ इंडिया कडेन आमी आरटीआय कडल्यान इन्फॉर्मेशन जितलें घेतलां थंय कसल्याच माहिती मर्जराचेर तेंचे कडेन ना. आनीक इंडियन नॅशनल काँग्रेस बीजेपीन मर्ज जालें हेजेर कांयच ना. वेर सेव्ह गोवा पार्टीचे जर तुमी पळयलें जाल्यार इलेक्शन कमिशना कडेन तेजे सगळे रेकॉर्ड आसा आनी इलेक्शन कमिशनाच्या रेकॉर्डान सेव्ह गोवा पार्टी ही मर्ज जाल्ली आसा काँग्रेसी. तो एक उदाहरण दिता. सो इंडियेन मर्जर जाल्ली आसा, पूण ती मर्जर कशी जाल्ली आसा, पॉलिटिकल पार्टी डिसिजन घेतात आनी ताका 2/3 मिनिमम MLAs एंडोर्स करतात आनी ते 10th शेड्युलाचे जे रिक्वायरमेंट्स आसा ती फुलफिल करतात. आता ह्या जजमेंटान एक्चुअली 10th शेड्युलाचो पर्पज कितें की अशे मर्जर जावची न्ही, आमदार फुटोन वयची न्ही, त्या खातीर 10th शेड्यूल हाडल्या आनी 2 कंडिशनां घातल्या. ह्या ऑर्डरीन हे डिफेक्शन जे आसा ते प्रिव्हेंट करचे सांगून तांकां एनकरेजमेंट करपाक सारखें आसा. सो ह्या सारख्या देशान, ज्या देशान आयज बीजेपीचो रूल चल्ला, थंय मनी पावर आनी ताजो गव्हर्मेंटाचो पावर यूज करून लोकांचो मॅन्डेट चेंज करता अगेन्स्ट द विशीस ऑफ द पीपल हू हॅव वोटेड देम. That is endorsed. This High Court has endorsed that. And
Okay.
that is the unfortunate part.
I think on that point we'll go to a very, very crucial aspect. Achir आम्ही सुरुवातीक क्लिओफात बाबी उलयल्ले, and that aspect is the impact of this judgment on what happens after 10th March. Cleofas, I'll start with you. What do you think is the impact of this judgment 10 मार्चा उपरांत? कारण काँग्रेसीन ऑलरेडी गिरीश बाबान पत्रकार परिषद घेऊन सांगला that there are heavyweights from BJP already approaching their prospective candidates / MLAs. अशी परिस्थिती भितर will this judgment embolden defections, or do you think going to the Supreme Court immediately now, getting some legal remedy is of paramount importance?
I think both. But going to the Supreme Court right now and getting it at least admitted, so they may not get to stay immediately, but getting admitted is important. Number 2, depending upon the numbers, it would be very crucial. Say it is 18 one side, then 12 becomes 2/3. Say somewhere it is 12, then 8 becomes 2/3. Say for MGP, they get 3, 2 becomes 2/3. So according to me, as the interpretation stands today, it is very dangerous for us because we are a small state and our numbers are very less. All smaller states like the northeastern states, it is a problem because I do not know how this will pan out In fact, maybe many were afraid that henceforth it would not be possible to have this two-third merger who are expecting. But right now, Girish is right that it gives some sort of a signal to the people who intend to merge. But all this would depend on the numbers, because if Girish wants to protect his group, then maybe it has to be 18, so that at least 12 are required. Because sometimes it is difficult to achieve the figure of 12. But then somebody would say, if 10 is achievable, why not 12? And on the same side, on the other hand, if say MGP or even let us say AAP or TMC has smaller numbers, then it is a problem for all the parties. It's a real problem.
अच्छी जॉब के लिए इट्स अ वॉर आउट देयर, बट एट पारुल यूनिवर्सिटी रहो बेफिक्र, क्योंकि इनको बोलने की जरूरत ही नहीं, इनके प्लेसमेंट्स बोलते हैं। पारुल यूनिवर्सिटी, वडोदरा, गुजरात।
ये वाला तो ढीला है, ऊपर से नीचे तक पीला है। इसका मसूड़ा तो फूला है, यहाँ तो कीटाणु का मिला है।
एक्सक्यूज मी।
हाँ, अब ये वाला अलबेला है, वज्र दांतों वाला है। 18 जड़ी बूटियों से बना वीको वज्रदंती, रखे दांत और मसूड़ों का ख्याल।
ही शेजवान चटणीची धमाल आहे, सगळे समजतात माझ्या हातात कमाल आहे। डाळ असो किंवा डिप, इडली असो किंवा पिझ्झा, डोसा असो किंवा फ्राईड राईस, चिंग शेजवान चटणीचा तडका सगळ्यांवर मारा।
ये चटनी नहीं, रॉकेट है, रॉकेट।
From Capital Foods.
हाँ, अब ये वाला अलबेला है, वज्र दांतों वाला है।
ये वीको का भरोसा है,
जो ट्रस्टेड आयुर्वेदा है। 18 जड़ी बूटियों से बना वीको वज्रदंती, रखे दांत और मसूड़ों का ख्याल, ताकि आपको बार बार डेंटल प्रॉब्लम्स ना हो।
वीको वज्रदंती।
आपके प्लेसमेंट्स के चैप्टर पे सक्सेस का थप्पा यहीं से लगेगा। ये इन्हें बोलने की जरूरत है, इनके प्लेसमेंट्स ही बोलते हैं। चूज मोर, चूज राइट। पारुल यूनिवर्सिटी, वडोदरा, गुजरात।